This is Off the Ice, the Nanaimo Clippers hockey show on 106.9 The Wolf. With the latest news on the Clippers and the BCHL, here's Dan Marshall.
We are on Off the Ice, the Clippers hockey show, and this is a Guinness World Record. We have 11 people in the Wolf studios right now. We have fans, we have players, we have camera crews, we have Joe and myself. There's never been 11 people in this room before at the same time, so it's pretty special. We have the Clippers graduating players here. I can't even see Spencer Hewson. I feel like he's miles away with so many people in this building right now. But we've got Spencer Hewson, David Eccles, Josh Blanchard, Sean Buchanan, and Taylor Karel. We're going to talk about some junior hockey memories, moments, look ahead, look backwards, and we'll start with the captain. Spencer, it could be a coach. It could be a teammate. It could be a billet. But when you look back at your junior hockey career, who's a person that really stands out as being very influential, maybe even perhaps the most influential person for you?
Wow, throwing me right into this here. That's a tough question to start off. Everyone else gets to think about it.
Michael Vandekamp.
I don't think I could narrow it down to one person. I've been pretty lucky that I've been here for so long that I've had a bunch of different teammates and different coaches come through as assistant coaches. Mike's been really good to me over the years, and I've been really lucky to have the same billets for all 4 years, and so the Goslings are now a second family for me. So I would kind of lump all those people together in saying they're the most influential.
Going back to your first BCHL season in 1976, was there a player on that first team? I'm joking, of course. Going back to that first team with the Clippers, was there a person on that team, a player, a teammate that you kind of looked up to a little bit that you remember?
Going all the way back to 76, I would have to say Colton Dolan was a Vernon boy, and he was one of our leaders on the team that year. And I grew up actually watching him play because he played minor hockey with my brother. And so to make the jump to junior hockey and have an older guy on the team who looked out for you, he was a big help to me.
David Eccles, is there somebody that you can remember that really for your junior career has meant a lot?
I'd probably say all of my billet families. I've been really fortunate to have great billets take me in. It's especially hard moving away from home at a young age and moving across the country, and I definitely felt like I had great experience with all of them, and I think that they are the most memorable.
How tough was the mid-season transition this time around, and how much better was it when you knew that if you're talking about liking all your billets, you came to a good situation here?
Yeah, it was. I'm used to it because I've been all over the place. I've played on 6 teams, so it was an easy transition this time, and I seemed to fit in pretty well pretty quickly.
Josh, who's a person in junior hockey that's meant a lot to you?
Well, definitely all the billets, but if I had to narrow it down, my billet in Salmon Arm, I was with her for 2.5 years. It was just me and her for a while, and then I had another kid in there, but she'd make me 3-4 meals a day if I wanted. She would do absolutely anything for us. She was the billet coordinator there, and she was definitely she would always look out for us, make sure we had everything we needed in all of our houses. But me just being with her for a while, we still continue to talk every 2-3 days. So she was definitely one of my biggest influences for sure.
Sean Buchanan, we're still having problems with your potentially bad microphones here, but give that one a try and see if you can talk about one of the people most influential in your junior hockey career.
I don't know. Probably my billets as well. Good billets. I had a couple of those. But I'd say the 20-year-olds probably my first year, and especially my second year too. I learned a lot from them. Work ethic and showing up every day. So I'd have to say the 20-year-olds.
Is there one of those guys just by name that you could point to? Maybe even one of the guys on the blue line that was a key guy for you?
I could point to? I don't know. I'd say I think I learned most from Hewson, I guess, on how to act. Not necessarily on the ice, but just every day.
He's one of those guys that you'd like your daughter to date, I think.
Yeah, he might be a bit old for my daughter, but but for sure.
Taylor Karel, what about you in your junior hockey career? Could have been a coach, a billet, it could have been a teammate. Who's the person that's made a real impact on you?
Well, definitely all my billets have been very important to me. I loved living with them all, but my first year, my billet dad was a pilot in the Marine Corps, and he served overseas in that. And every time I talked to him, he taught me a lot of great life lessons, and he was a very motivational person. So that was definitely the most influential person I've encountered throughout my 3 years.
We're going to start with Taylor for the next question. We're going to talk about the two teams that you could face in the playoffs, and I'll get the guys to pick a team and say, if we're going to play that team, this is what we need to do to win. We'll start with Taylor, Karel, and Victoria. If you are Taylor to play the Victoria Grizzlies in the first round, what do you need to do to be successful in a series against that team specifically?
We definitely have to stick to our systems and play our systems and play the way we need to play. They're a team, they're kind of all over the place. They don't have a lot of systems. They definitely have a lot of skill, but we can shut that down with playing a strong system and, just working hard and outworking them every game.
Sean Buchanan, let's go the other way. If you are to face Powell River in the first round, what's it going to take to beat that team? Obviously, you know that team very well from just playing them twice on the weekend.
I think we have to play hard. We have to work harder than them because that's a big part of their game is hard work and scoring all our chances, I think. I think it would have been a lot different this weekend if we finished all our chances.
Josh, for you, you're new to the island rivalries on both sides with Powell River and Victoria. So let's just look at the way the standings are right now. It would be Nanaimo, Victoria right now. And that first week, you saw the Grizzlies, but I think this team is a lot different than that team. So maybe for you, just how far has this team come from your first week here when you remember those games against Victoria and Powell River? How far have you guys come?
Well, the first weekend was definitely tough with playing two of the top teams, but no, we've got a lot of guys are buying in now, and a lot of guys are, we're seeing we can go far and we can actually do something in this playoff run. So it's changed completely. Practice habits have changed completely. Guys, don't mind working hard. Guys want to go out there and work hard. Bench is alive. Guys want to go out and block shots because they know when they come to the bench, somebody's going to be giving them a tap. So it's definitely nice to see that now.
David Eccles, we're going to give you the Powell River Kings as well to beat that team in round one of the playoffs. If it is the Kings that you face, what do you need to do as a hockey club?
I think we definitely need to get our forecheck going. We're a great team when our forwards are working hard, getting in on the forecheck and making their D's life tough. I think that would be the key to our success against Powell River. And if we can do that, I think we have a good chance of beating anybody.
If you are to beat the Victoria Grizzlies, what needs to happen?
We're going to need to score more than them, Dan.
Thanks, Coach.
So it sounds pretty easy, but they're a pretty high offensive team. I think TK nailed it on the head, saying our system is something we need to focus on to kind of shut them down. But at the end of the day, they've got a good goalie that our forwards and our guys who we expect to score goals are definitely going to need to step up.
I gave the players a heads up on this question, and Sean Buchanan immediately had a hockey game in mind. I want to know from these guys, starting with you, Sean Buchanan, your most memorable junior hockey game.
Back when I played Junior B with the Peninsula Panthers, and we were in the playoffs. We had a really good team that year. We were in the semifinals against Comox, the Glacier Kings. Having a hell of a season that year. And
this is a great story.
It was Game 7 in the semifinals, overtime. And I remember it was my first time in like a 7-game series playoff, or second time, but it was my first Game 7 ever. It was overtime. And I remember my brain was like exploding and I was just off the wall. I'm pretty sure Vandy was watching that game too. That's why he liked me so much. Used the glass all game. Didn't make a mistake. It was good. That was probably my favorite.
All the games that we've talked about with the Clippers in the last 3 years, and you're going with Game 7. Did you win the Game 7?
Yeah, we won in OT. Bar pad. Bang. It was good.
Were you on the ice for the goal?
Of course I was, Dan. I was a staple on that team.
I don't know if anyone can top that, but let's give Josh Blanchard a chance to try. And you were hinting at a game. I don't know if that's the one you're going to go with.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't like talking about that game.
Okay, there was a negative game. I'm not even going to give the circumstances, but Josh was venting about a negative game. Maybe he's going to go with a positive game. Most memorable, Josh, junior hockey game.
We were down, I think, by 2 goals against Prince George a couple years ago, and we scored to tie it up with, I think, a minute left. And I remember there was a point shot coming, and it was just a bad rebound by the goalie, and I turned around and fired it in, and there was 0.7 seconds left to go ahead, and that was probably one of the cooler goals that I've ever scored. There was multiple angles of it. They had it on I think Shaw TV in the Okanagan or something. It was probably one of my most memorable goals in games for my junior career.
Before you came here, how much fun did you have playing the Clippers? It always seemed that you hit the score sheet sometimes multiple times in games against Nanaimo.
I don't know. I always enjoyed playing against Spencer. I know he let me have a couple face-offs, and I'd let him have a couple here and there. But no, it was weird. It felt like every time when I came to Nanaimo, something bounced off somebody, or I got just a good chance in the slot. And it was always nice coming here. We always played Nanaimo either on the first day or the last day. It was never in between. So I remember last year was a hard-hitting game, and I think we lost last year to you guys, but then when you guys came to Salmon Arm, I think we won. Yeah, but no, it was always fun playing Nanaimo, and it felt like something always bounced in for me, which was odd.
Let's go to Taylor Karel. Your most memorable junior hockey game, Taylor.
I'll have to go back to my first year for this when I was playing in the Knoll back for the Corpus Christi Ice Rays. So to start the season, I think we went like 0-15. It might have been 0-20 on the road. Didn't win a game. This was like mid-January. Hadn't won a game on the road. And we went up to Wenatchee, and we lost the first game on the Friday night, but then Saturday night we came out and we beat Wenatchee at home. And all these guys know how hard it is to win there. And that was our first road win. I don't know how much more we won the rest of the season, but, it was a big win. Everyone was so excited. And then the next morning we had to be up at 4 a.m. to leave, so I don't think anybody slept that night.
Ouch. David Eccles, most memorable junior hockey game.
I have two, actually. The one not so nice memory was losing in the championship of the RBC Cup to Portage. That was a bit of a heartbreaker, but one of the more memorable ones that was positive was we won the Fred Page Cup, which is the Eastern Canada Championship, when I played in Carleton Place. And we were up by 1 goal with a few minutes left in the third period. And I was out there blocking shots left and right. I probably had 15 blocks in the third period. And we held on just barely to win the game and get to the RBC Cup. And that was probably my most memorable good game.
Spencer Hewson, I hope you're not going to go with the game when you were a Salmon Arm Silverback in here, but what's your most memorable junior hockey game?
I'm going to cheat and go with a full series. Because,
okay, that's fair. I'll allow it.
My 18-year-old year, my second year in the league, playing here for the Nanaimo Clippers, we made it all the way to the finals, and we played Penticton, and that had to be one of the crazier series that I've been a part of because we went in and won the first 2 games in Penn and then managed to lose the next 4. But in the 6-game series, I think 3 went to overtime, including Game 6, where they won it in Nanaimo. And just probably the best hockey that I've been a part of because both teams were playing really well, and it just seemed that each team, any chance they got, it went in, and just the momentum swings in that series, I'll never forget that series.
We were talking about it, myself and your father, on the road on Saturday. Your goal, your team's down. You had a goaltending performance for the ages from Guillaume Dussel in that series. Your team was down in the deciding Game 6 in the third period, and you scored one of the prettier goals of your entire career to tie the game and force overtime. Describe that goal.
That was probably one of the strangest goals because I think it was right after they scored.
It was.
Up, and then we put out our fourth line, which I was a staple on. And we win the draw, and I'm playing left wing. And it was just kind of a D to D and then up to me, and I got over the blue line and just threw one on net from like a step inside the blue line, and the goalie blockers it straight up in the air. And we've got Forbesy playing center, who anyone who knows Forbesy knows that the guy was an absolute beast. And the puck goes straight up in the air. The goalie doesn't see it. Forbesy's grabbing like 3 of their D-men so that they can't bat it away. And then the puck comes down and hits the goalie in his back and trickles in. And I think Forbesy was the only one who saw it go in, and so he started jumping on me, and I still didn't know what was going on. And then, so yeah, probably one of my nicer goals.
Spencer, let's stick with you for the next question. It's been a long junior hockey career. It's been a productive junior hockey career. You've made lots of friends. You've had lots of teammates. You've certainly made an impact on this city. What are you going to miss the most about being a junior hockey player?
I'm not too sure. I don't think you can really bring it down to one thing. I think the whole experience of junior hockey, there's so many different layers to it. I'm going to miss playing hockey for the Clippers and just the experiences that I've had. I'm going to miss my billet family. I'm going to miss living in Nanaimo. I don't think there's one thing that sticks out more than the other. I've been pretty lucky to really enjoy my time here.
David Eccles, what about you? It's been a long career. You've had a few different stops along the way and certainly made lots of memories. What are you going to miss the most about it?
I'm definitely going to miss like the carefree lifestyle, just showing up to the rink, playing the game you love, and just working out. You know, it's a pretty relaxed way to live your life, and I'm definitely going to miss living out in beautiful British Columbia. It's amazing out here, so love where you live.
Josh Blanchard's a lot of games, almost 200 regular season games for you, so lots of memories. So what are you going to miss most about being a junior hockey player?
Probably like the carefree lifestyle and sleeping in, the amount of sleep I get. I won't be able to get that kind of sleep, you know, going to college or, you know, just working an everyday job. So, yeah, sleeping in is probably going to be one of my more memorable memories from junior hockey. But, no, all the friendships and all the people I've met throughout the way, you know, my billet families, the teammates that I've met all around Canada. So it's definitely going to be tough when, you know, season winds down. But, no, the sleep for sure is definitely something I'm going to miss.
Sean Buchanan, I feel a bit bad for you because carefree lifestyle, I think, was going to be number one for you, and sleep was going to be number two. There's not much left. So what are you going to miss the most about being a junior hockey player?
I appreciate you underestimating me, Dan, but those were not my top two. I was going to go with the people I met and the friends for sure.
Are those the people in Peninsula or the people in Nanaimo?
Oh, Peninsula. No. No, not Peninsula. Here in Nanaimo. Made a lot of good friends. Met a lot of fans my first year. Spent a lot of times in those nice blue seats. And then a lot of good teammates, a lot of good memories. Things I'll never forget. So that was good.
Taylor, Karel, last word goes to you on this one. What are you going to miss the most about being a junior hockey player?
You know, these guys pretty much covered everything, but, you know, I'm really going to miss my billet dog, Chuck. You know, we do a lot of things together the past year and a half. We go on walks, we take naps together, and he's definitely one of the guys I'm going to miss a lot about junior hockey is just my billet dog, Chuck.
A few minutes left with the Clippers graduating players, Spencer Hewson, David Eccles, Josh Blanchard, Sean Buchanan, and Taylor Karel. And I want to go to the road. And the preface here is keep it clean. Taylor Karel, what is your best junior hockey road trip story or memory?
All right, well, this isn't really the best, but it's going to be the most memorable for me. It was my first year, and we were traveling back on a 27-hour road bus trip. And we got to Dallas, Texas, and we had a big black bus, and the air conditioning pipes froze up. And so we still had 8 hours back to our city, and it was still like 100 degrees in Texas. And by the end of it, there's a bunch of guys just in their underwear sweating, just spread out everywhere. It was the most disgusting 8 hours of my life, but I'm honestly never going to forget it just because it was so miserable, but it was also kind of fun to experience.
Let's move to Josh Blanchard next. And Josh, your best road trip story. I'm sure this is probably going to come from Salmon Arm, but maybe not. So what's your best junior hockey road trip story?
Yeah, it's from Salmon Arm. I was there for 2.5 years. So the first road trip of the year, whenever we would go to the island, and a lot of the American guys had never been on a ferry before, our coach at the time, Brandon West, would say all the American guys had to bring their passports right before to get on the ferry. And there was a couple kids who honestly thought that they did, and they were freaking out, and they had no idea what to do, and they were telling, so we made them go out and talk to one of the ferry officials who still had no idea what was going on. He's like, man, I didn't bring my passport. Can you just like let me on? He's like, you don't need a passport to travel on a ferry. And he kind of just like slowly looks back at the bus, and everybody's just killing themselves laughing. And we did it every year to all the new American kids. So that was definitely one of the funnier moments on a bus.
Sean Buchanan, best junior hockey road trip story.
I don't really have one for me that I was a part of exactly, but I was on the bus listening and laughing. But I'm pretty sure we were going to Wenatchee last year, and everyone kept asking Remps if his phone had changed time to the new time zone yet. And Remps kept going, no, like what time does your phone say? Okay, let me see. And everyone was like, no, man, like it hasn't changed. He'd be like, no, what's going on? And eventually figured it out. I don't know, it was pretty funny. I laughed pretty hard at that one.
David Eccles, best road trip story for you?
Mine's similar to TK's. It's after we won the Fred Page with Carleton Place. We got on our bus, and it wasn't a normal bus. It was an old party bus from Las Vegas. It was like a short one, so you had to sit right beside someone. You didn't have room on the bus, and there was no air conditioning because at the beginning of the season, we pulled up to a rink and we knocked it off. We hit the air conditioning on the roof and ripped it right off. So there was no air conditioning. It was like 20 degrees out, boiling hot. And we were all jam-packed in there. Everyone was fired up, singing and yelling because we just won. We somehow acquired a handful of beers that we were drinking, and that's probably the best road trip memory I have.
Spencer Hewson, what is your best junior hockey road trip story?
There's a few more about Rams, but I don't want to pick on the kid too much. So I'm going to go with one from my rookie year. Where we were traveling back from Prince George, and there was a group of about 6 guys playing cards, a game called President. And how President works is at the end of each round, based on how you did that round, the ranking changes, and it can go the first place player's President all the way down to whoever's last is called the asshole. Sorry about that, Dan. And
I knew it was coming.
But and so that person has to deal that lowest ranked player. And it was on the way back from Prince George, and the highway shut down. And so we were just sitting there, and so it turned a 9-hour drive into about a 14-hour drive. And we had the same 6 guys playing for about 7 straight hours. And Bo Brower was the bottom-ranked player for about 6.5 hours of it. And the kid just kept going. And then I think it was about 2 hands after he finally worked his way out of that, everyone decided to quit and go to sleep. And so I still remember Bo, and he was such a soft-spoken guy, not wanting to say anything about it, but just the look on his face of putting in 6.5 hours of work on a bus trip, pitch black outside, nothing else to focus on, and then everyone else just quitting on him. So that's one card trip or bus trip card game that I'll always remember.
Spencer, I want to stick with you for the last question here as we go around the table. Tell us the story, and you told us a great one about Mike Vandekamp talking about the Bobby Orr book the last time you were on.
Great read.
I still chuckle about that one. But about Mike Vandekamp, Dustin Donahue, or your trainer Travis Allen, is there a story, and again, keep these clean, without the yellow and the blue language of the last one, but is there a story you can tell about any of those guys that have been such a key part of all of your lives this year? And you can tell it from last year too, because you've been around a little longer. If you want some more perspective than just this season.
The favorite Vandy story, or I'm not prepared for this yet, but just going off of it, there's a few stories that he likes to pull out about once a year, and the first time they always have a lot of influence on you, and you really get the moral of the story. But when it's your 4th time hearing the same story about climbing up the side of a mountain, or how cold the rink was up north, or on a road trip, how they only had 10 guys.
Running in front of the bus.
Running in front of the bus is a good one. Those are probably some of the ones that or the trade deadline one. There's always that one. And so getting the same story 4 times is something that sticks out to me with that. I know that's not really a story, but that's just something to say.
Let's move on to Josh Blanchard. And Josh, I'm going to allow you to go back to the staff in Salmon Arm if there's a real story that sticks out there too, because you haven't been here for a long time. But a Vandy, Donnie, or Travis story would be better, but we'll let you go back to Salmon Arm and tell a story about the staff there.
No, I think I'll stick here for this one, but I haven't been here very long, but I've definitely heard a bunch of stories from Vandy so far. And the most recent one, when we were just this past weekend, about him deciding to just climb up the side of a mountain and in runners, and one of his great friends was in flip-flops, and he kind of went on about it for a little while there before the game, and just talking about how he persevered through climbing up a mountain. And I was kind of just sitting there, and I thought to myself, just, wow, this guy loves to tell stories. This is a pure storyteller. I haven't known him for that long, but I've already heard 3 or 4 stories in the time I've been here. And the trade deadline one, the first day I was here, I was only in town for a couple hours, and I'd already heard a trade deadline story about this is all we got left. Nobody's coming in to help. We burned all the ships and the boats. So it's definitely, I haven't been here long, but I've heard a lot of stories so far.
Sean Buchanan, a story about Travis Allen, Dustin Donahue, or Mike Vandekamp. And again, you've been here a while. It doesn't have to be from this year, but any story that comes to your mind.
If it's an awesome story or what, but Dusty always comes upstairs and makes us do an absurd amount of exercise in the mornings at the rink. But besides working us to the bone, one time we always seem to give Dusty a little bit of heat for what he does. And I think Evan DeBrouwer said something to him, and he says she tells him to go run stairs, but he was just joking. But I guess Evan didn't know this, so Evan's out there running stairs, and everybody's walking back into the room, and he's still out there running stairs. And Dusty's like, "You can come back, it's fine." He's like, he's just waving him off, like, "No, it's fine." And he just keeps running his stairs. I'm pretty sure we had a game the next day. He didn't care. It's funny though.
Thank you, Sean Buchanan. You just have a way of telling a story. David Eccles, I think we've missed you, so let's skip back to David. A story about a member of the staff here, or even a member of the staff from one of your other teams is okay too, but preferably somebody from here, Mike Vandekamp, Dustin Donahue, or Travis Allen.
It's definitely a Vandy story. The one that sticks out the most is the one where he was at a brouhaha with his boys, and he thought it was a good idea to arm wrestle, and he was arm wrestling with this guy for so long that he tore the cartilage off of his chest, and it went black and purple, and I think this was back in the day when he was in much better shape, like he tells it, and yeah, that's the one that sticks out the most. I thought it was a pretty good story.
He couldn't breathe for a week afterwards. Made it through, though.
If we can get composed. Sorry, Taylor. You have the last word, but that's a tough act to follow.
I'll have to go back with the Vandy story again. This was this year before a Coquitlam game. It was our last game before Christmas break. And he starts telling this story about how we need leaders, and that even cows that have a brain the size of a pea have leaders. And so he was at his buddy's farm or his ranch, and he was impersonating his friend, calling in the cattle, and I think the lead one was Bessie. And so you got Vandy like whistling up there, like making his facial expressions, calling in Bessie, and trying to get the point across of the story. And I just remember I had to put my head down in my jersey because I was laughing so hard.
Great stuff.
He was stomping his feet and everything. He was like, "Come on, Bassett, come on." That was good. Ask Evan DeBrouwer about that. That's his favorite moment in life.
Taylor Karel, Sean Buchanan, Josh Blanchard, David Eccles, Spencer Hewson, the Clippers graduating 20-year-olds. The regular season ends for these guys with the home-and-home series against the Victoria Grizzlies on the weekend. The playoffs. Lots of people to thank on the show. 11 people in the studio today. We have fans. We have a camera crew. We have Joe D. We've got Spencer Hewson, David Eccles, Josh Blanchard, Sean Buchanan, Taylor Karel. We had a lot of fun, a few laughs. It's been a good season with these guys, and hopefully the postseason is a long one. For Joe, this is Dan. Good night from Off the Ice.
You've been listening to Off the Ice, the Clippers Hockey Show. Join us again next Monday night at 7 on Nanaimo's Rock, 106.9 The Wolf.